The annual Conservative Political Action Conference, better known as CPAC, gets underway in Washington today, and it features a who's who of potential presidential contenders, including former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty. Governor Pawlenty, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Meredith.
CPAC is sort of the unofficial start of the 2012 Republican presidential nominating contest, and you have made it clear that you're seriously considering running. You've said that you're going to make up your mind somewhere between now and maybe March, April time. But at this point, what would keep you from running?
My wife.
No, is she hesitant? Is she saying don't do it?
No, really, I'm just teasing. But it comes down to two things, really. What are the needs of the country, and what do I bring to that?
Well, you figured that out by now,
yeah,
right?
And secondly, it is a deeply personal decision because the burdens that places on a family are not insignificant. And she's fully supportive. I love her very much. But it is a burden on a family.
So, again, what would keep you from running? If she supports you and you know what you need to do?
Well, we're just making sure we've got everything in line, get the ducks in a row, so to speak, and that's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of work there, and we've been traveling around the country working for conservative candidates, and we'll finalize the decision in the next month or so.
Okay, here's the rap on Teapaw, as your friends call you. You're a nice guy. You're considered maybe too nice, maybe don't have the star quality of some of your potential GOP challengers like Sarah Palin and Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney. So how are you going to emerge from behind those headline grabbers?
Well, a number of things. First of all, I think people are probably tired of the hype and the big speeches filled with false promises, and I've got a record of actually delivering the product and the goods.
You think those three are making false promises?
No, I'm just talking, you know, we elected a president who had soaring rhetoric and a lot of great speeches, but a lot of people are disappointed in his performance. And so if you look at the record that I have as governor, when you talk about cutting taxes, reducing government spending, reforming schools, market-based health care, and the rest, I've actually done all of that, and it lines up pretty well with the needs of the country.
But again, how do you emerge from behind those headline grabbers, those people that have the star quality?
Well, first of all, I'm not well known outside of Minnesota, but I think as people get to know me, I tend to get support. I got elected and re-elected in probably the most liberal state in the country as a Republican. So, as Frank Sinatra would sing about New York, if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Let's talk about, you know, you're a self-proclaimed fiscal conservative, and you criticized the president after his State of the Union address. You basically called him a chicken. That's the word you used, for failing to address real fiscal issues in this country. But your successor in Minnesota, Governor Mark Dayton, has criticized you for leaving a $6.2 billion deficit. Last night, in his State of the State address, he said that he was left with a horrendous fiscal mess and state agencies poorly managed. So what makes you better equipped to run the nation's economy if you left your own house in such disarray?
Well, 49 of the 50 states have a budget deficit, and so if the disqualifier is any governor who has a budget deficit, currently no governor could run for anything. And it's a result, of course, largely of not particular policies, but the worst economic collapse since World War II. And as to Governor Dayton and any other governor facing those challenges, that assumes, by the way, the deficit in Minnesota, a 27% increase in spending. That's the forecasted increase in spending. That's preposterous. So I could take care of that deficit, as I did for my 8 years as governor, and he should too, by reducing government spending. But there's outside groups that have looked at all of this. I'm only one of 4 governors in the country that got an A grade from the Cato Institute for the best fiscal discipline and management in the United States of America.
Finally, Tea Party supporters in Washington put a lot of pressure on their Republican leadership to make even more severe budget cuts than the leadership had planned. It's an indication that they may be trying to run the agenda in Washington. You are emerging as a Republican leader. How would you reconcile those two sides of the party?
Well, the good news is, and this is, I think, the story for CPAC and for conservatives more broadly, reducing government spending and dealing with the deficit and the debt is now mainstream. And so the fact that the Tea Party and others are pushing for more cuts, deeper cuts, faster reform, that's a good thing, Meredith. I don't discount that. I applaud it.
Okay, Governor Pawlenty, thank you so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks
you want to
for
make an announcement while we got you here? Get it over with?
Absolutely. No, I don't. I'm just teasing.
No, he said absolutely. Congratulations.
See ya.
You're not going to squirm out of this one. It's 7:16. Once again, here's Matt.
Careful, Governor. She'll hit you harder next time.